Inspire with Nendrix, the foundation.
Hey, Embracing Arms community, this is Dr. Danielle Hairston coming back to you with another 5-minute quickie for your best life. I was on my Twitter today and I saw a young lady post about how she could not conceptualize this idea of working for an organization or any place for 25 years because at the age of 25, she was already exhausted. She was already exhausted with her work. And so she was just kind of posing a question in Twitter about like how people were able to kind of make it through 25 years. And there was all kinds of responses, stop being lazy, you don't deserve to live if you are not out here working. You need to grind, you need to put in your time. I mean, it was just all kinds of stuff. And there are some other people that was like, yeah, I'm here with you. I'm exhausted. I'm tapped out. I don't even have any energy to give my family at the end of the day. I don't even know how I made it, to the 10th year or the 12th year or the 15th year, wherever they were in their career. And so I am always talking about, if you've had an opportunity to review any of my 5-minute quickies or just have the opportunity to have conversations with me face to face, that I'm always pushing wellness, and not just because I think this is just a buzzword and it's just fun to talk about. Is because I struggle with my own wellness. I struggle with having balance in my life. I struggle with my own mental health. I struggle with my own physical health. I struggle with my own nutritional health. I struggle with my own spiritual health. I struggle with all of that all the time. And the best way to hold myself accountable is just having these conversations consistently and constantly with other people, because I feel like as much as I'm responsible for making sure I'm well, I have a responsibility for embracing other people and helping them find ways to stay well. And that's even in the workplace. I'm fortunate enough to lead an institution within an organization that is just amazing. We're well respected, well known. We reach families all over the entire country doing the work that we do. And I know that my colleagues can burn out. I know that they get exhausted. I know sometimes when you're, dealing with the stress of family life, your own family life, and you're going out in the community helping other families thrive, that compassion fatigue is real. I know that in 2021, 2022, people's work look different now. They're expected to do way more with less. They are expected to come in and be the communications person that does all of the article writings, all of the social media posts, and not just in one social media platform, 5, 6, and 7 social media platforms. They are responsible for crafting images, for marketing every department within an organization. They're responsible for making sure that press release goes out. They're responsible for making sure that they create PowerPoint presentations for all the leaders. They're responsible for making sure that they communicate our impact to the federal government, to the local government, to the state government. This is one person, right? And you start rewinding the tape back in time. That wasn't the case, right? Your communications manager had one medium. That was the newspaper. That was it. They were focused on the newspaper. And so our work looked different now, right? Our commitment looks different. Our respect for our own bodies are different. We are demanding that the workplace find ways or provide ways for us to be well. We are asking our leaders to consider that when they're giving us tasks and shifting our vision and focus and dropping things on us and having us put out these little fires constantly because there's no vision and there's no direction, there's no strategic plan, and there's no accountability. And it's difficult, especially when you are a person that is new in their career, or they have a young family that they're trying to raise. They have their own health issues. They have their own challenges. challenges. And not that people back in the day, in the 60s and the 50s, didn't have their own challenges. We already know what those challenges were, especially for Black people, right? We know that. We get that. We're not discounting that, and we're not muting that and minimizing the effort and the energy that an individual had to put into get to work every day and to be in work every day for 8 hours a day with racism happening and with all of those other issues, feminism happening. What we're saying is respect the fact that today, in this century, in this time, that work does look different. So don't call these young people lazy just because they're overwhelmed. Figure out ways in which you can help them be well in place. Don't disrespect them and tell them that if they're not out there earning a living, they don't deserve to live. Who are you to make that determination that someone doesn't deserve to live because they're not out there earning the wage in which you feel is ethical, right? And who are you to determine what that is, right? And so, and people may not be working for all kinds of reasons. When people decide they don't want to work, maybe they want to stay at home and take care of their children. Maybe they're grandparents that are young and so vibrant that want to care for their grandchildren, right? Because their children are starting their careers and trying to get the ground underneath them. And, you know, we know daycare is costing a whole lot of money. It's almost like a graduate degree just to pay for daycare. And God forbid if you have 2 children. So embrace people. Recognize that work look different now, that it's really difficult for our colleagues now, that we don't have a lot of people. There are a lot of organizations that have a deficit in employees. And so we have colleagues that have to take on 5 and 6 and 7 tasks. And maybe that was something that was easy for you because you didn't have a life. You weren't doing anything outside of your 8 to 5. But loyalty looks different. And folks are no longer saying, I'm going to give everything. I'm going to give my whole soul to this organization, regardless of what I want to do after work, regardless of the family that I have at home, regardless of my own mental health. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm not going to leave this office until it gets done. If that means I'm here 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, I'm going to do. That's no longer the case anymore, because at the end of those 40 years of doing that, you have vacations that you haven't taken, and oftentimes you lose them. Your mental health is impacted. And for the most part, and this is what I've witnessed, when people dedicate those 30, 40 years to their work, some of them only are met at the end of those 40 years with a certificate. And it was great knowing you, right? Loyalty looks different on both sides. And so we need to embrace people who are really struggling. This is a different time. Give them some coaching, help them figure out ways in which they can thrive in place, find ways to bring them joy when they're at work so that they are motivated to come into their office every day. But also make sure that they understand that there is a balance, because if I'm not doing things that bring me joy outside of the work, I am not going to be able to come into work and give you my all, period. That is my looks like 7-minute quickie for you today. Go out in the community and embrace someone. They are waiting for you, and continue to live your absolute best life.
We're
chillin', having our fun.
Yeah.
Come spend the weekend with us.